Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Geeks vs. Geeks as we're covering more of our PAX West 2024 trip in Seattle. Of course, we were doing a lot of different things that day, so we took a moment to have a little bit of lunchtime and relax time at Pike Market and visited that famous place to just look at all the arts and crafts that are out there and all the touristy things. You got to kind of visit that. If you go to Seattle, guys, you have to stop by and say hello. Now, definitely do not forget that if you go there, that downstairs in the basement, that they have an incredible comic and board game store, and you must visit that. Of course, you went to the very famous fish throwing. If we're lucky enough that we're doing that as we were visiting. And look at those fish. They're just flying like never before. Besides that, we also went to the infamous gum wall, which was downstairs, a little bit outside, an alleyway full of gum on both walls. They tried to clean it multiple times. I can tell you, it smells a bit minty. Do not recommend touching anything, but very interesting to see. From there, of course, we went back to PAX West, and as you maybe know by now, there are two convention centers. There is the brand new Summit building, which is beautiful, and also the older Arch building. And between the two, they're about a block away. There was plenty to see. We had a specific goal on this day because we were going to see a crafty game that is definitely unique in the game sphere and uses a whole different style of making a video game. And we had an interview with the developer about this game called Feltopia. So let's have a look and see what she has to tell us.
Hey everybody, welcome. We're back at PAX West again. We're at a special booth for a game called Feltopia, and we are a special somebody who's going to speak to us about the game. Hi, would you like to please introduce yourself and tell a little bit more about your game, Feltopia?
Sure, yeah. My name is Andrea Love, and I am the creative director of Feltopia. This is an entirely hand-felted stop-motion side-scroller, and it's about Skyrider, a sheep herder with magical powers, flying through the rainbow realm to help protect the animals and the land from an infectious smog spirit.
Okay, so you say it's entirely made out of felt. With that, you're not joking. You literally mean that every single frame is another picture of something that was painstakingly crafted in felt, and then I understand photographed?
Yeah, so I'm a felt animator. I've been doing stop motion for over a decade now, and so I live and breathe wool. Every single thing in this video game is felt and no CGI. It's all animated frame by frame, and backgrounds removed and then put in the game.
Can you tell a little bit more about that process? How does that work? So where do you kind of start with setting that up, and how do you transfer that into the game?
Yeah, so I have a stop motion studio in Port Townsend, Washington, and I've been making puppets with wire armatures that can be moved very delicately, and it's a very different process than, say, making a short film or making a piece of commercial work where I'm making a physical set in front of me, and everything's there. In the game, I'm doing everything individually with just a clean background, and technology has advanced in the last couple of years to make sort of like keying those hairy edges a lot easier. So we're really trying to preserve all of those fibery details.
Yeah, because the details really makes it feel like an organic material, right?
We want people to be able to tell what it is, and it's so important that looks good.
If you start shaving that off, it becomes a lot of different look.
I've always sort of been afraid of compositing for that reason, but just starting this process really got me excited.
And so did you storyboard each level or each design that you want to do? Because you say you have to make the individual pieces. But did you storyboard out what it's going to have to look like so you have a reference?
Yeah, my assistant Michelle has done a lot of storyboarding for me, and she'll just do sort of some rough sketches, and then I'll just sort of like take it, in my mind and just kind of create these felt animals. And I try not to do too much pre-production because I don't like, having that process just sort of inching along for too long. And, I usually have an idea in my mind of what I want it to look like, and I just sort of get to work felting it.
And so is this a character that you already had before? You say you do a lot of short movies, or is this an old brand new idea?
This is a completely new idea. I was talking with my friend Andy one day. He's a programmer, Andy Katsakapis, and we were just, talking about like how cool a stop motion video game would be. And then I was like, well, I've never seen a felt stop motion video game. And we just started, batting around a couple ideas. And he was like, oh, like maybe there should be some sort of like horse cloud and out like flying through the world, like shooting rainbow beams. And then I just like made this cute little puppet, just a couple days later, and we were just like, whoa, that's it. Like, we should just go with that.
So that idea already started pretty early and stayed the same, because I was going to ask you if there were different iterations of what you're going to make, and then how did you end up on what you have now?
Yeah, our main character has been the same throughout, but when we initially thought of the idea, it was more of like a robot apocalypse, laser shooter game, and we got a little bit into that story, and it just didn't sit right with me because I'm like such a non-violent person. I wanted to be a little bit more positive, a little more wholesome. So we were like, how can we kind of preserve, aspects of what we have, but change it into something that is more sort of in line with my beliefs? And so that's how we sort of came to a more sort of eco-fairy tale, like environmental, wholesome concept where your rainbow power is the power of good, and you're not destroying things, you're transforming things into something beautiful.
Yeah, so with that, were there any like real challenges that let me rephrase that. Were there any challenges that caused you to have to rethink your creative process? Or did you stick to your creative process and try to just fix the technical side of things at any point?
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of experiments and dead ends, and we, having never made a video game before, Andy has been a hobby game developer, and I have just been in the world of animation and short films, so it's a completely different process, and just trying to figure out what works and what didn't work and how to streamline the process. It was a real thing. Yeah.
Do you feel that making a video game that you have done now has it unlocked any more creative processes for you yourself that you haven't had before? Did that unlock new ideas, fun, new skills that you now can use going forward?
Since it is such a different process, it's been so fun to just imagine all the different things that are possible with games. And there aren't a lot of things out there in this sort of style in the game world, so I'm just super excited to be working in this medium. And
yeah, it definitely looks very unique. So right now, where you are in development, is it mostly done? Are you about halfway? Is it a concept? Where are you at right now?
This is our vertical slice. We've been working on it for about a year, and we have 6 minutes playable demo that we brought here to PAX West. And right now we're pitching publishers, trying to secure funding, and we're hoping for a 2026 release. We are going to release on Steam first, and then pursue other console releases as well.
And what's your goal for the final release? How many hour long of gameplay are you looking for? How many levels that you're currently thinking about?
We're hoping that the golden path might be around 2 hours, just sort of like straight through, but that maybe more like 5 to 10 hours of just sort of like replayability. And we're going to do different scaling levels, and we're going to have a lot of different incentives for how to play. And yeah.
Okay, great. Well, since it's still that early in development, I'm not sure what you have right now. But what you have right now, what is your best feature that you have in the game that you like? This is the first thing we needed to nail, and it's right there. So this is absolutely what we needed to have.
We wanted to make sure we tried a boss fight, because I was like,
okay,
this is such a major part of what we're going to do, because as a felter, I wanted to have lots of puppets, and so what a great way to experience puppet animation is a boss fight. And so we tried really hard to get that into this vertical slice. So actually, yeah, what we have here is in the finished game, we're going to have 4 different realms. And this is the rainbow realm. This is the first realm, and it's kind of a vertical slice of the first realm. It's 5 different mini levels, and so you can sort of see the progression, and then it culminates in a boss fight.
Okay, thank you. Anything else that you say, hey, you didn't ask me about this, and I really want to speak to you about it?
Well, we are sharing a lot of behind-the-scenes content as we create the game, and so we are on social media. It's at Feltopia_game on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And yeah, I mean, it's a long process, and we just want people to follow along and wish list us on Steam and just, yeah.
Are you already on the wish list on Steam?
We are.
Okay, so
yes.
make sure to check
yes,
that out.
Please do wish list us.
And then anybody who's still here on this final Monday, you can actually come check them out at the PAX West booth as well. And I'm not sure if you're planning to go to other conventions in the future, but check out their social media. And then you can see more of the game. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
We're going to try out the game
Please
and
do.
then have a look and see how we feel about it. And I appreciate you interviewing us. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
You have a great day.
You too.